everybody, and welcome to the Jerry Lawler Show. And this is a special show indeed, because today marks the anniversary of the show. We've been on 1 year. This is our 52nd show. And that's right, I'm just as surprised as you are. But anyway, what we're going to do today, it's going to be a little different. We're going to kind of take a look back at some of the, well, I talked to the producer and I said, let's pull out some highlights from the past year. And he said, well, I'll just pull out some segments. I don't know if we could find any highlights. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take a few minutes and we're going to go back and look at some of the, quote, highlights of the past year of the show. And we'll be back with it right after these words.
Well, I've been informed, Jerry, that you've been on the air 1 year today, and I never thought you would make 1 year, but you have made 1 year, and I congratulate you for it. You know, if you'd been network, you'd have been bumped a long, long time ago. But let me say one thing, Jerry. I'd like to thank you a lot for having me on your show. My career could have been helped a whole lot if you'd had me all that exposure on TV. All I can say, Jerry, is congratulations, and don't get hurt, you know, because Channel 5, they've been talking to me, and they want me to take over the show.
You know, the way we start out each show is our one-on-one segment. And when we first envisioned doing a show like this, we thought, well, this would be an opportunity to talk to some of the wrestlers, and they'll be glad to come on and let the fans out there see kind of a different side of them. And, well, some of them were glad. And, matter of fact, we're going to show you a few of the guys that were real happy to be on the show.
As a matter of fact, Jerry, I want to come right out here in front of the outset of this interview and just say it's really a pleasure to be here, and I'm just tickled pink to be the first guest on your first show.
Well, I remember the last time I was on the show, Jerry Lawler said, we'll have you back in the near future. Was that me, Rick, a year ago?
Yeah, a year ago. That's the near future. Do you know? We're going to have you back in the near future.
Near future.
No, I'm kidding.
Near future.
I'm
near
serious.
Future.
And we...
See you in 80.
No. We had a lot of fun with all of those guys, and we, as we said, we figured everybody would want to come on the show and, you know, let the fans get a chance to know them a little better. We thought they'd all be glad to be on, but we found out that not everybody was overjoyed about being on the Jerry Lawler Show. And here's one guy that, well, he wasn't too thrilled about it at all, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I know it. You're a bully, Lawler, so you pick your spot.
Oh, man.
No, you do. You pick your spots because, see, you've had everybody on this show. I mean, all wrestlers, football players, you've had everybody. But not the Dream Machine. But now you've got me on here because you know that the shape that I'm in with this cast on here, and you know that I'm not able to do anything. You know I'm helpless. Because, see, you are a bully. You're just like Memphis. You're built on a bluff. No, you are. Go ahead and laugh. Get that little grin that you always do out there. But, see, you don't want the people to really know what kind of a person that you really are. But, see, I know that.
You do know that?
Yes, I know it.
I think I'm a pretty nice guy to even have you on here. You know,
oh,
you
really?
Could be,
you need some class on here. How's your rating
Is that
today?
why I had you on here
yeah,
for
well,
class?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I said, the Dream Machine, not really excited about being on the show. And, you know, the one-on-one segment was supposed to be an opportunity for me to let the fans get to know the wrestler that I was interviewing better. But some of the guys came on and instead of talking about themselves, they want to talk about me, like Tojo, for instance.
Soon, I predict you're going to be the new world champion. Like I told you before, Mr. Lawler, I respect you a lot. Like you said that you wrestled against me before. I wanted to put you out of commission the first day when you entered the
and
ring.
You almost did.
Well, because, Lawler, I respected you. And then, like I said, Lawler, if you fight against the best man, this and that, you know when you win a victory like that, you know you win a victory. And like I said, I always respected you, Lawler, and you're the greatest wrestler. I've been all over the world. I've been to my country, everything, and then just like in Japan. Your name is well known there, and you're respected over there. And like I said, if you go to Japan, I wish you all the luck. I know it's my country too, but I think, in my opinion, Mr. Lawler, I think you can be the next world heavyweight champion. And I predict that, and I'm going to wish you and congratulate you.
Okay, we got a gift certificate for you. What else can I give you for saying all that good stuff? You don't have... Well, Tojo had a lot of nice things to say about me, but then there were times when we had a guest on that wasn't exactly, well, he didn't have nice things to say about me, to put it bluntly. And here was one of those instances.
You didn't discover me. I discovered myself.
Now, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, you shut up. I'm doing the talking.
Oh,
I signed a little agreement not to punch you in the nose, but I broke them agreements before. Oh, boy.
No, that's just a little joke. Come on, man. Now, that's another thing. Whose idea was the sword?
Hey, this is a real sword from the Civil War.
I realize it is. I realize it is.
Fixing to have your head on it.
The Giant Rebel. That was one of the more interesting one-on-one segments. And we're going to be back after these commercial messages and let you take a look at what we did in our viewer mail segments.
You mean tell me Jerry Lawler's been on the show,
You mean to tell me Jerry Lawler's been on the show, has his... Let me go again. You mean to tell me Jerry Lawler's been on for 1 year? My, oh my, how time flies. And yes, from me being on the show, the ratings went sky. Come on, Lance, cut it out. He said, Mr. Calhoun, would you like to be on my show? I said, Lawler, I'd love to be on your show, but you realize that the ratings are going to go sky high once I'm on your show. So he said, please be on it, because you could really help me out.
Well, we're back on our very special one-year anniversary show today, and in our second segment, we usually have what we call the viewer mail part of the show, where we invite the viewers to write in, and if they have a question for any of the wrestlers, any kind of question, anything you want to know, you just write to the Jerry Lawler Show, and we'll get them to answer it for you. Well, at least that's what we thought. But some of the guys weren't exactly real clear on their answers. They kind of shied away sometimes. Like for instance, the time somebody asked if the Rock and Roll Express were married. Let's see some of their answers.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Kim, for especially writing in. You want to answer the first question, you want to know how old I am. First, I'm 23 years old, and Robert here is 47. He's married and got 16 kids. And for the second question is how me and Robert got together. Well, Robert called me up and wanted to be with the greatest wrestler in America today. So here we are today, the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, Kim, before we go any further, you know, how can you believe somebody's wearing a red and white shirt with stars on it? Well, first of all, I'm 25 years old, and what are you, 14?
See what I mean? I don't think they really wanted to answer that question for some reason. And then there were times when guys would answer it, and when they did, you couldn't understand what the heck they said. Like, for instance, the Boogie Woogie Man, Handsome Jimmy. He was something else.
Boy, that's a hard question. Was that two questions in one or just one question in two? Okay. Well, I'll tell you something. You know, I've been wrestling ever since I was, geez, I can't remember. But Grandma Valiant, you know, she was a professional wrestler. I know that because the first time I seen her, she had two doorknobs on her side of her head. She got cauliflower ears, Jack. And Grandma Valiant, you know, she moved me to New York City when I was 4 years old. And I was the only boy raised in New York City in the streets, eat cornbread and pinto beans 3 times a day. Well, Grandma Valiant, you see, she had me in boys club to keep me out of trouble. Well, I used to fight, you understand, in boys club, and when I was 16 years old, I used to bounce in all the joints in New York City. In fact, they called me the troubleshooter. And when they came to get me, there was big trouble, you understand. They had 4 or 5 taxi cabs with the meter running, Jack. I tell them double meter it all the time. Look at brother over there. I said, brother, take me to the toughest joint in town, and we're going to get down, you understand? Well, that's what was that the question, or what was the question, Jerry Lawler? Spare time. Spare time. Well, how about a spare tire, Jack? You know something? You owe me a spare tire. I want to tell you something. He sold me. You know what, Jerry, Jarrett, and Jerry Lawler together, they had a duel, I guess, the twins. They had a dual car. And I wanted it, you see. Boogeyman wanted that car, and it was something I wanted ever since 1957. Well, I finally got it last year, and that's what it was. It was a 1957 Chevrolet. Where's the spare tire?
Handsome Jimmy Vane, I'll tell you, he was something else. He's something else in the ring, and as you can see, he was on our viewer mail segment also. And speaking of our viewer mail, if you out there this week have any questions that you'd like to ask any of the wrestlers, you send them along to the Jerry Lawler Show, 1960 Union Avenue, Memphis, Tennessee, and the zip code is, of course, 38104, and we'll do our best to get them to answer the question fully and to the best of their ability, okay? And just for writing in, you're going to get a complimentary postcard from the show, and if we read your question on the air, Jerry Lawler Show t-shirt, okay? So keep the cards and letters coming in. Now, following the viewer mail segment, we always went with what we call our bad guy interview. Now, this was the least favorite part of the show for me because I had to sit there and badger with some of the biggest jerks in the city. And speaking of big jerks, the one that I guess made the most appearances on the bad guy segment because he's the baddest of them all is the wimp, Jimmy Hart. And let's see just one of his many appearances.
Let's ask about the future of the family. Don't you realize that the family members are dropping out left and right, and the guys are finally seeing you for what you are, and the way you're taking advantage of them, and how they're leaving the family in droves?
Man, I don't know what you own or where you've been, but why don't you take a look around, leaving in droves. Sure, Bobby Eaton left. Big deal. He's a loser. He's always a loser, man. He ate me out of house and home, him and Coco Ware. But look who I've got. Stan the Man Hansen, the new international champion. Then I've got the Assassins, the World Tag Team Champions. Then I've got the Grapplers. Hey, the Southern Champions. Buddy Landell's got the Mid-America Championship
Okay,
belt.
I'll tell you what.
I can go on and on, baby.
Listen, you know what's so good about this being my show, Jimmy?
No. I know what you're going to say. You're going to cut me off like you did Ken Patera and like you Jimmy Cornette. No, you're not cutting me off, baby, because I'm leaving. Bye.
Well, good. Don't let the door hit you in the rear end on the way out.
See what I mean about Jimmy Hart? I'm telling you. That's the guy you couldn't warm up to if you were cremated together with a guy. Anyway, one of the other guys that we had on one of our earliest shows was a guy who came into the Memphis area and caused a lot of problems for everybody concerned, but, you know, I don't guess there's any delicate way of putting this. He's no longer with us. I'm talking about Andy Kaufman. And here was Andy Kaufman's appearance on the show.
There he is. You came in number 2 on our turkey contest.
Listen, Lawler, I didn't know that you were having a contest like that, and if I'd known, I'll sue you. I'll sue you for having me on a contest like that. You are using my name, my face. My name is worth money, and you want to put me on a turkey contest? Let me tell you something. You put my head on the face on that turkey, and I'm going to sue you for slander and libel. That's making me look bad.
No, we're not doing that. God beat us to that. But let me just say that...
Lawler, I didn't come here to be insulted. I'll walk right out of here. I'm telling you right now, I'm used to being on big shows nationwide. I'm not used to being on a little rinky-dink local show. And what are you trying to be like, David Letterman with the Jerry Lawler show? You're always telling me not to be in the wrestling business. Now you're trying to be in show business like me. You don't belong in show business. You should stay in the wrestling business, Lawler.
Okay, well, let me just say this, Mr. Kaufman. I understand you had come on here and said all of this big talk about how Muhammad Ali has been training you to be a boxer.
And
what is your preoccupation with being a wrestler or a boxer? What about...
Lawler, I knocked you out. What are you talking about? I knocked you out with a right hook, and I'll knock you out again tomorrow night with a windmill.
Who are you looking at? Here, hey, there I am.
Huh?
What are you looking at, the monitor? I'm over here. Here I am. Look in the camera. Talk to me,
Lawler,
Kaufman.
don't be a wise guy, okay? Because I'll knock you out the same way I did last week. Look, you thought you're a big man when it comes to wrestling. Fine, you're okay. You can beat me in wrestling. You give me the pile driver, which is illegal in the first place. I knocked you out when I had those boxing gloves on. You just give me a pair of boxing gloves, and I'll knock you out again. I'll knock you out every time, Lawler. Haven't you learned your lesson? You're so dumb. You're so dumb, Lawler.
Well, let me ask you something. Are you planning on making boxing a career now, or what is it?
Lawler, I have a good career, okay, and I just do this for fun because I want to knock you out. I don't like what you did to me. And let me tell you something else, Lawler. Let me just tell you something else. I don't have to come here and be slandered by you, and I don't have to come here and be on some little rinky-dink show with you. I don't even know why I'm here doing this.
Well, you obviously you were asked to do it. And you've obviously agreed to do it.
Lawler, why aren't you having me one-on-one like Dave Brown? Why don't you have me one-on-one? Are you afraid of me? You afraid of me because you're such a wimp? If you were a real man like you always said you would, you have me in the same studio with you. You understand, Lawler? Huh? I'm not afraid of you, but you're afraid of me. Otherwise...
Well, as you can tell, he wasn't too excited about being on the show either. But anyway, I'll tell you what, we're going to be back with more of the show. We're going to have Aunt Eloise. We're going to see, we're going to see me do my Dr. Doolittle impersonation because even though this is a sports show, we had some animal visitors on through the year. And you're also going to visit with Super King. All that's coming up right after this break.
My, oh my, I never thought you would make it a year, particularly after Calhoun was on it, Jerry. Congratulations for making it a year. We got the Lone Ranger ready right now. Okay, let's roll it.
Well, we're back on the show as we take a look back at some of the things that took place over the past year. As you all know, we've been on a year today, 52 shows, still hard to believe. And, well, one of the brightest points during the year, at least for me, was we had a Jerry Lawler special one night. And one of the guests on there was Aunt Eloise. But she wasn't just on talking, she was wrestling. And wrestling, not another wrestler, but Senator John Ford, of all people. We're going to take a look now at the end of that big match between Senator John Ford and Aunt Eloise.
I can't stand it no longer. I can't stand it. I got to help him. I got to help you. I'm coming, Bill. Help's on the way, Bill. Don't worry, honey bud. Get out the way, Jerry. Get out the way. He needs my help, Jerry. He needs my help. I'm a-coming. I'm a-coming. I'm going to put the possum super-duper on him. Here I come. The possum super-duper. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Lord have mercy. I can't carry on no more, Bill. I can't carry on no more. I have to quit. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I think that put an end to the wrestling career of Aunt Eloise. I can guarantee that. Now, I'll tell you what we're going to take a look back at. As I said earlier, this started out to be a sports show, but we got a little sidetracked along the way, and we thought we'd add a little variety to it. And somewhere along the line, somebody suggested, how about having some animals on the show? I didn't know if it was that great of an idea, but anyway, we did have a couple of special guests. And right now, one of the guys, one of the animals, turned out to be smarter than a lot of the wrestlers we had on the Bad Guys interviews. And I'm talking about none other than Zippy the Chimp. We thought we would come out here to Liberty Land and talk to him today and try to talk him out of being in Hart's first family. We're talking about none other than our pal Zippy. Now, Zippy, but first I want to ask you what you think of Jimmy Hart. Now, Zippy, I'm sure that you've seen Jimmy Hart, and everybody knows that on Saturday morning, Zippy, are you listening? I hope you are. On Saturday mornings, Jimmy Hart is always running that big mouth of his. Can you give me your impression of what Jimmy Hart looks like on Saturday mornings? Also on Saturday mornings, we have our announcer, Lance Russell, who I refer to as Banana Nose. Now, I'm sure you've seen Lance Russell. Give me your impression of Lance Russell. Okay, now, one other thing I wanted to talk to you about. I'm really not that worried about you being in the first family because I think that you have more brains than Jimmy Hart. But one of the things I'd like to ask you about is we have one of our favorite sportscasters here in Memphis. His name is Jack Eaton, and I'm sure you've seen Jack Eaton report the sports. Now, give me your impression of Jack Eaton doing sports commentary. And what you're doing with these are using them, like you said, for people that want to use them in commercials or videos, music videos, or
yeah,
or any of that kind of stuff. I think she wants to eat the microphone.
No, she had a big ride over here, and she's a little bit nervous.
A little bit nervous. Okay, calm down, Nicole. All right, could you give us a telephone number where anybody out there that's watching that would like to buy me a new shirt? Okay, Nicole, this is great. I'll tell you, boy. Where anybody that wants to get in touch with you to use one of these cats, what is the telephone number?
Let me stand up here.
Okay, just choke her right down. You ever had a pile driver put on you, Nicole? Okay. Well, Zippy was a lot of fun, but I can't really say the same thing for Nicole. But they did add an interesting little sidelight to the show. One of the things that was fun during the year, especially fun for me, now here's another one time, Ron Clayman's going to say, oh my gosh, here go the Browns again. But we did get to travel to Cleveland, and this was sports all the way because I got to visit with, well, a lot of the members of the Cleveland Browns. There was Coach Sam Ratigliano, who gave a great plug for the show, and then we talked with the quarterback Brian Sipe, and also Tom Cousineau, the big middle linebacker for the Browns, and of course, Memphis-owned Curtis Weathers, also with Cleveland. And we got to talk to all of those guys, and we're looking forward to going back up there again this year. And during our second year, we're going to have a lot more of the Browns on the Jerry Lawler Show. And one of the other things that was a lot of fun, well, it involved a lot of work also. You know, they gave me a call, and they said they had a kind of a dirty job, but somebody had to do it. They had to get rid of the old King Cotton Hotel. They had to just completely demolish it. So who do you think they called? That's right. Super King. Here's what happened.
All right, ready, clear the area. All right, y'all get back. Everybody out the floors? All clear.
Okay, Mr. Lawler, we're ready for you now.
Ready for me?
Ready for you. Yes, sir.
Is this where right here?
That's it, yes, sir.
Here, make sure everybody's out of the way now. I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Yes, sir.
You guys got everything clear?
Everything's clear.
Cleared out? Everybody out? We're out. Okay, here we go. You know, my fist is still sore from hitting that brick wall. But let me tell you one thing. It's not too sore to put it upside Rick Rude's head tomorrow night in that big cage match coming up at the Mid-South Coliseum. I want to see each and every one of you out there because I'm going to need your support, and I want you to be able to see what I do to Rude once I get him inside that cage when nobody can get in and nobody can get out. That's going to be tomorrow night. Right now, that's just about all the time we have today. I want to thank, well, of course, I want to thank Lance Russell, and I want to thank Dutch Mantell, who, of course, came on and said that he wants his own show. Dutch, the only way you're going to ever get your own show is if somebody in your family dies and leaves you some talent. And also, we want to thank Calhoun because he tried to wish us congratulations on our year's show. But most of all, we want to thank you people because without you, of course, this show wouldn't be possible. And I also want to thank everybody at Channel 5. They've been great to me here, super. One more thing before we go. I want to remind you that next Saturday, that's September the 1st, during the big Liberty Land McDonald's MDA Telethon weekend, we're going to be out at Liberty Land with live wrestling matches. I'm going to be there. The New Generation, Jimmy Hart, Tojo Yamamoto, and the Nightmares from 1 p.m. until 4 p.m. at the Liberty Land Sundome. Come on out there. Going to be a big autograph session and live wrestling matches at Liberty Land next Saturday. Until then, well, until tomorrow night at the Mid-South Coliseum. And we'll be right back here next week at 11 on Channel 5 to start our second year of the Jerry Lawler Show. This is the King saying so long.